My purpose in life is to witness this moment.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning and welcome. It's Nurse Richard the Wax Wizard. Thank you for joining me. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning and welcome. It's Nurse Richard the Wax Wizard. Thank you for joining me. It's a bit of a long one, this. It's about just under 15 minutes long because it was a right battle. This chap, I'd not seen him before and he came to see me. And as soon as I saw all this plug with these hairs matted in it, I thought, oh no, we've got to be here a while, aren't we? And he was completely deaf in this ear, just as much in the other one. This one was a right battle. I needed an array of tools to get this out. So I think these hooks, curettes, suction, the lot. I had to throw the kitchen sink at this one. And the other one is where the second ear is where the title of the video comes from, COCOON. It's a really weird looking thing when it comes out. So stay tuned, that's nearer the end, that one. And it's kind of like, it looks like, you Australians might know what this looks like. It looks like a witchetty grub. A bit like a big fat maggot. It's a really thick layer of white skin with these kind of bubbles all over it. It's a really weird looking thing, but stay tuned for that. That's coming up at the end. And the only reason why I know what a witchetty grub looks like is because they used to eat them, didn't they? In is it I'm a Celebrity? That challenge, that reality show that they do in the jungle. I don't think they do it anymore. Maybe there was complaints of animal cruelty. I don't know. Apparently they taste like peanuts. Anyway, I'm not going to try it. Before I forget, subscriber of the day today is Aunt Curly. I guess that's your handle because your name underneath it is just Laurie. So thank you for being a subscriber. I really appreciate you. Thanks for the comment asking to be subscriber of the day. And if you want that to be you, you know what you've got to do. You've just got to subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment that says I would love to be subscriber of the day, and I will put you in the hat for the next subscriber of the day. Anyway, as you can see, I've resorted to I tried the hook, it just kind of cut through it a little bit, resorted to the curette here, and yes, it got things moving around. It also spread things around a little bit. But yeah, sometimes you just need a combination of things to try and get these things out. And I'm trying to, there's a little gap there that I can get that into, so I'm just scooping out a bit at a time, having a look around, see if I can get in there a little bit deeper. Now, I don't know if this chap had been mauling about in his ears or not. There is a suspicious amount of hairs in there, which can just naturally shed and fall in there, or fly in there if you're grooming, trimming, shaving, clipping. And it was very full, obviously, but it wasn't that compacted that made me think that he had been poking around in it, because as you saw at the beginning, it was kind of sticking out the ear, and if he'd been poking around with it, it probably wouldn't have been. But it takes a while, this, so I will tell you some other stuff, because it's been quite an eventful weekend here in Wizardland. I don't know where Wizardland is. That's not even a thing, but it is now. So let me tell you what we've been up to. And if you've never watched the channel before, you're thinking, well, why? I can go on about this here for 15 minutes. You'd get bored, as would I. And I know a lot of you like hearing some tales and stories, and I have got some for you. So you might notice by my voice, I do sound a little bit hoarse this morning. And that's because, excuse me, we had a lovely weekend away and a catch up with the extended family, which we do every year. And no matter where they are in the world or in the country, all the aunties, uncles, cousins get together and have a weekend away somewhere. And we had a weekend away in the beautiful Yorkshire Dales. I think this place it's a converted barn, and I think they use it for like outward bound school trips. So all the bedrooms are all like bunk beds, dormitories, if you will. And they have some communal areas, games rooms with a pool table, ping pong and all that, which the kids really enjoyed, because there's lots of children now. Everybody's got lots of kids. All my cousins have got lots. And so they had a blast. We didn't see much of them all weekend. And what we also do is, because it's a very musical family, it's not just myself and my dad, and my cousins, uncles, it's mainly the men in the family. The musical gene seem to have skipped the females in our family. They're all tone deaf, can't sing, can't dance, can't do anything, but they are wonderful women. They're just not talented in that way. So we always get together with a mishmash of uncles, cousins, myself, my dad, and we get the instruments out, pianos, there's a bass player, there's lots of singers, guitarists, drummers, all sorts. So we have a bit of a sing-song, take requests from the rest of the family. Anyway, that went down really well. And after that, things went a little south, shall we say. I'm not averse to having a pint or two. Don't get me wrong, not all the time, but if it's a big get-together, we always have a few. But when I say it went south a little bit, it all started when we do, and let me know if you guys do this as well. We all get round the table, do some drinking games, which is always fun, usually. And the one we like to play, it's called Fuzzy Duck. Now, tell me if you've heard of it. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't heard of it, I'll basically explain how it goes. It's a good, fun game to play. Maybe not with young children, but teenage kids. It's quite funny if there's any elderly members of the family as well who don't understand it. It can end up being quite funny. So how it works is you basically go around in a circle, and one person will say, Fuzzy Duck. And then the next person will have to say the same thing, fuzzy duck, fuzzy duck, fuzzy duck, etc. Goes around in a circle. And then one person at any point can say, does he? And ask a question to the person who just said it to them. And then they've got to reverse it. And when it's reversed, I've got to think carefully for a second here before I say it. It's ducky fuzz. So then it goes ducky fuzz, ducky fuzz, ducky fuzz, ducky fuzz. And then one person again can say, does he? And then they've got to reverse it to fuzzy duck, fuzzy duck. Now, obviously, you've probably already figured out that if you get this wrong, you might say something that you really don't want to say. And that's quite funny, especially when the kids or the elderly relatives say it. And obviously, if they've done that, then there's a punishment, which is you've got to take out a couple of fingers worth of the beer you're in, or take a shot, whatever it is. Anyway, it was all going so well, and we'd finished that game, and then we were just having a catch up on old times. Little week before I carry on, really weird. I don't know if I've got to that point yet. Have I? Yeah, it's really weird little. I don't know what word for it is. Like a husk of hair wrapped around in this bit, really deep down in this one, which was a bit weird when it came out. Anyway, so we'd finished the game. And then myself and my cousins were having a real good catch-up, reminiscing on old times like you do, chatting about Nana and all that, And so we carried on, having a couple of drinks. We ran out of beer. And I was feeling fine at that point, a little merry, but nothing outrageous. And then said all we had left was gin. Now, I don't mind gin normally, but there is a reason why they call it Mother's Ruin around here. I don't know if they call it that anywhere else in the world. And so we had some of that. We had some gin and tonic. We ran out of tonic water to mix the gin with. So my cousin, Faye, if you're watching, this is all your fault. She said, "Oh, it's okay. We can mix it with something else. I've got some cans of cranberry juice in the fridge." And I thought, cranberry juice and gin? That's a bit weird, but it's something to water it down with a bit. Anyway. So pours this, just a normal single measure of gin, and then pours this cranberry juice into all our gins. I think there was 3 or 4 of us having it at this point. And that was fine. It actually tasted not too bad. Look at this, what I was saying. Bit of a weird one, this. And anyway, when after about 3 or 4 of them, I started feeling really unwell. And this came on all of a sudden, and I thought, oh no, what's going on here? And then we re-looked at these cans of cranberry juice, as she called it, and we realised it was actually a can of ready-made a vodka cranberry. So it was not just gin and cranberry, it was gin and vodka and cranberry. And I thought, I need to go to bed. So I went to bed and felt we had to get out early in the morning. And I was feeling pretty rubbish, to be honest with you. And yeah, my wife and my kids were finding it hilarious that Dad was not feeling very well. Not my fault, it really wasn't my fault, kind of. And unfortunately, the drive home, because this place was in the middle of nowhere, it was on like a single dirt track, and it's like up and down. It's really bumpy road, and that's the last thing you need when you're feeling like that. I'm going to stop talking about that for a minute and have a look at this when it comes out. Is it this point? Yeah, this is it. This is the Cocoon. Look at this. That looks like a witchetty grub. Oh, look at this thing. Wow. It is absolutely enormous. When it does, it looks like thankfully I didn't see any moths or butterflies fly out of it. But it's a whopper. Anyway, so we were going home on this road, very bumpy, and I'm starting to feel really not well at all. And I said to my wife, I think you're going to need to pull over. She said, really? Because I never do this. You need to pull over. And we're in the middle of a housing estate at this point. And I said, no, it's got to be. She said, there's people's houses here. I said, no, it's got to be now. So I opened the door, just leant out the side, had a quick chat with Huey. And all I could hear in the back was the kids were absolutely roaring. And I looked to my side, and my wife was there going, but trying the very best not to laugh. And I said, listen, this is not my fault. This is not my fault that I feel like this. It's all my cousin's fault who spiked me. Anyway, has that ever happened to you? Is it just me? I thought it tasted a bit different, this a gin and cranberry juice, but yeah, now we know why. Anyway, but I'm feeling all right now, just a bit tired. But it was a fun weekend, apart from the drive home. But otherwise, we had a really good laugh, and it was good to catch up. And again, I've not told you much about this ear. I thought you might find that story amusing, and I don't want anyone to think I'm not a complete consummate professional. That's really rare that happens, but it can happen to the best of us, especially if we're having something that we don't know what it is until afterwards, and then it was too late. And in this chap's second ear, you can see it was just as full, but even when that giant cocoon came out, there was still plenty left, right stuck down there on his eardrum. And there is going to be a couple of little spots left, because at this point he can hear perfectly, and he'd had enough. And I showed him, I said, there's a couple of little spots in here, they're not going to make a blind bit of difference to your hearing. He said, well, leave it then, I'm absolutely fine with that. And yeah, there they are. Couple of days of drops and they'll fall out anyway. They'll naturally start migrating out anyway. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that and enjoyed having a little giggle at my expense, which is fine. But for now, take care of yourself and I'll see you later. Ta-da.